Welcome back to another episode of Nomadic Journeys with Next Stand. I am Nicole, your host, and every month I get to sit down with fellow digital nomads and entrepreneurs to learn their business secrets and teach them to you. But today we're very lucky to be joined by an ergonomic expert and entrepreneur, James Crow, who is an expert on posture and has the same mission as Next Stand, which is to help people just live their best posture lives free from pain. And he is going to teach us everything we need to know today. And also, I mentioned earlier that you can't see it right now, but I'm in a garden chair and you're going to tell me off for it.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me why that's an awful choice. So let's jump straight in. What inspired your passion for posture stars?
Oh, okay. So years ago, I used to work in IT, and they gave me a laptop and sent me off to do work, either at home or at clients' places. And I didn't really have any kit. I didn't have a laptop stand or anything like that, and I didn't know any better. So I worked really hard, and then I got pain, and I had to stop work for periods of time. And I realised during my time when I wasn't working that I really enjoyed learning more about posture and the body. So I trained to be an Alexander technique teacher, which is a form of body mindfulness. And then I trained up in ergonomics as well to be able to help my clients, because I'd show them good posture and then they'd go home and sit in a garden chair or do something like that while they're trying to work. So
like I'm doing now.
Like you're doing now. But I mean, let's face it, Nicole, the best chair is probably the chair you've got to hand. So that's better than no chair in some instances.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
And so then you started Posture Stars from that.
Yeah. So Posture Stars, we're an ergonomics consultancy based in the UK, but we have global reach. So we tend to do a lot of webinars and online workshops for companies who've generally got hybrid staff. So some of them are working from the office, some of them will be working from home. And we teach them basically how to make the most of the setups that they've got where possible, because nobody wants to spend money unless they really have to. And then we point out areas where they could improve their posture and their environment. And then if they do need equipment, we also have a shop where we can either sell equipment or refer them on to someone else, perhaps in their own country, who can supply that for them. So yeah, basically it's all about keeping people comfortable. And I kind of have a mantra, which is that I won't stop until people are comfortable at work. And I think it's so important nowadays because everybody's busy, everybody's in a rush, and particularly if you're nomadic, you've got your laptop, you just rush out, plonk it down somewhere and get to work. And actually setting yourself up well probably takes only another 5 or 10 seconds, which is probably if you're working on a laptop, you've got 30 seconds while it boots up anyway. So you might as well get yourself set up well.
Yeah, so true. And especially with Next Stand as well, it's very fast just to get that laptop stand up and out, and then it's just a matter of getting your keyboard and your ergonomic mouse. Yeah, it's so easy to do in cafes. Like sometimes I go to a cafe and forget to bring it, and I think like, it really doesn't take much effort to do, and the benefits of it is so much. But speaking of the benefits, like, why is it so important? Why is having good posture when you're working important?
Well, there's a number of reasons. Firstly, because you don't want to look like a crooked, bent over old person by the time you're 30 or 40. So there's vanity, isn't there? That you want to look after your posture so that your posture looks good for other people. Which is a prime motivator for a lot of people who come and see me in person. They just say, look, just fix my posture. I don't like the way I look. But secondary to that, there are all sorts of beneficial advantages in working in better posture. At some level, your digestion works better. Your breathing certainly works better if you're in a good posture and you're not crouched and hunched down over something like that. And I think it helps people think better as well. Plus, it means that you're more productive because you're able to get more work done before you get tired or achy or fed up. And then the final bonus is at the end of the day, when you've finished work, then you've got a lot more energy and you feel a lot better because you haven't been sat in a bad position all day. Yeah. So there's no reason not to. It's not rocket science. Ergonomics and posture really isn't rocket science. It's just encouraging people to take those little micro activities that make a massive difference over time. So if you have bad posture for 8 hours a day, you're looking at 40 hours a week of time spent in a really bad posture. And some people will go and they'll say, yeah, but I've been to the gym twice this week. And I kind of think, well, so you've spent 40 minutes exercising to remedy 40 hours of sitting badly. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So you're better off being in the moment, in the present, in the best possible posture that you can be.
Yeah, totally. And what's the Alexander method then with the mindfulness? How does that?
Yeah. So a lot of people have heard of it and a lot of people haven't heard of it. It's a mindfulness method. So it teaches people to be much more aware of and in their body whilst they're doing things. So I'm practicing the Alexander technique right now, and there's nothing to see really, but I'm aware of how I'm standing. I'm aware that my position of my hips is in the right place. I'm not slumped down. I'm not holding my chest up tight. My elbows aren't around my ears. And so it's a body awareness method. And people can find out about that at alexandertechnique.com and alexandertechnique.co.uk if they're interested in that. It does take a bit of time to learn it. It's not an instant quick fix.
It's just basically being aware of your body then, and just make like, because I correct myself a lot when I'm standing, and I'm so conscious of like, I think because I did ballet when I was younger, I'm very conscious of my posture, and so I'm like constantly like, oh, I'm slouching, do that, and I like automatically kind of correct myself and like make sure that my spine is kind of straight and aligned. Is it basically just kind of like that, like a mindfulness then about your body? And
yeah, you can look at it that way. So you think about it as having that body awareness all the way throughout the day instead of just at discrete points throughout the day. So you're quite body aware because of your ballet, but a lot of people, because of the school, and then jobs, they've learned to blank out the body to sort of ignore the body's discomforts, and over time they just think of it like a head on a stick. So there's a joke about university professors, which it's a rubbish joke, but I'm going to tell you anyway, which is it's why do university professors have bodies? And it's basically just to carry their head to the next lecture. And I told you it was a rubbish joke, but a lot of people are like that. We sort of we resent the body at the end of the day because it's hurting, but we've paid no attention to looking after it during the day, either through body awareness and good posture, or by using those external peripherals that we can talk about today, which just make it a lot easier to have good posture without having to think about it.
Yeah. I think that analogy though is also, it applies to the way a lot of people see the body in general, like when it comes to diet and exercise and just how we live our lives. We forget that this is more than just like an A to B vessel. It's our life machine.
Yeah, and you know, a lovely phrase about that is your health is your wealth. So make sure you look after it. Because I work with a lot of people who they've got to their sort of 60s and 70s when I work with them in person, and they've had really successful careers, and they've disowned the body to such an extent that when they're ready to retire, they're ruined. You know, they can't run down the beach or ride the horse or go learn scuba diving and all the things that were on their dream list. They can't do because. You know, so that's really my mission is to make people as comfortable as possible so that they can do the things they want to do. You know,
that's exactly the same as our mission, and why people should be taking notice of it now in their 20s and 30s and 40s and making so that when they're older. So obviously, a lot of people, especially in remote work and in the digital nomad space, especially. We're always jumping from cafes to Airbnbs, and I wouldn't change it at all. I love traveling and I love working, but it comes with a price. And so what are like the common mistakes that people make when working basically from home?
Okay. Yeah. So the basic common mistakes that people make when they're out and about working or working from home have all got to do with height. It's height of equipment, height of screen, height of chair, height of desk or table. So if there's one thing you're going to look at, it's about getting those heights correct. I'll show you over here, for example. So this is a nice little work from home style setup. And if you imagine this was a kitchen table which was fixed, so it wasn't movable, and someone was sat on a kitchen chair, and this is their kitchen table, which we see quite a lot. Then the heights are all wrong in terms of being able to type and use a keyboard and a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see quite often, and some of your viewers might notice this in yourself, what's going on then is you've got the contact pressure here on the soft underbelly of the arm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that contact stress is one of the primary causes of discomfort and time off work as a result of getting arm pain and arm injuries, repetitive strain injury, carpal tunnel syndrome, all of those good things. So it's really important to sort your height out, and we can go through all of that. There's just one point I want to make before I forget. When we're talking about laptop stands, people assume that they need to get a laptop stand, and they'll get a laptop stand so the screens are to better height, and then they'll type on the laptop.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so easy to assume that everybody knows that when you get a laptop stand, you need a keyboard and mouse separate as well. But not everybody knows that. So if that's you out there, one of you people, don't be typing on your laptop up like that, because you've got a flexion in the wrist here and it's going to cause discomfort and pain over time. Make sure you've got yourself a separate keyboard and a mouse, which they're really affordable now. I know next stand you do a really nice kit where you get a stand, a keyboard and a mouse all in one, a really portable one, which is very affordable. That's a great idea as well, doing something like that.
Yeah, that one's our base 12 one, and yeah, it's really good because it comes in one case, and yeah, and you've got like the keyboard, the mouse, and you can even fit your neck stand inside there, because that's how I travel with it, and it all just like fits into one, which is so good.
That's an option. So other options are keyboards can be quite compact. This is a nice compact keyboard here. You don't need a great big ergonomic keyboard this big, particularly if you're mobile. You're not going to take it with you. You just want something really easy. And when it comes to mice, nowadays I tend to recommend upright mice. So this is a contour mouse, which you can adjust the height of. So they're really cool. That's hyper adjustable. They come in left and right size and wide or wireless.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I actually haven't seen that. That's the first time I've seen that. Like,
that's amazing, the contour uni mouse. This is an evoluent upright mouse. These are very popular as well. So a lot of offices and corporate environments will use an upright mouse like that. And the reason upright mice are advantageous is if people want to try this now, if you hold your hands over like this, as if you're on a keyboard and a mouse, you'll feel there's tension required in the forearm to hold your hands in this position.
Yeah.
But if you just let them float upwards again, that tension goes. So that's a much easier position to be mousing in. An upright one.
I had this problem yesterday because I spent like a really long time yesterday doing like very repetitive kind of copy and paste tasks.
Yeah.
And I mean, I spent like 8 hours, and like every 2 hours, I would say my arm was killing. Like it was it was the first time in a while that I'd had to do that, and like it was definitely killing, even with like just a normal ergonomic mouse.
Yeah, it's a real problem. So there's a number of bits of advice I can offer there to people, which is don't work for 2 hours straight on a spreadsheet, because that is going to cause discomfort over periods of time. So you want to be getting away from the desk as often as possible, whether it's to go and get a drink, go to the toilet, or see what next door's cat's doing, or you know, whatever's going on. Just the act of standing and getting away from your desk. And it doesn't have to be a 15-minute break where you walk around the park and talk to everybody. Even if it's just standing up for 5 seconds and sitting down again, you've got the body moving and you're given a bit of a break, and it will thank you for it. So one thing you could do is I use these Pomodoro timers, something like this, and just set it. Yeah, this is great. This is a chunky old model. You can get fancy, nice looking ones now if you want. And just set it for say 30 or 45 minutes and put it somewhere else off the desk or off the table, somewhere on the other side of the room, or in your bag or down. So you're going to have to move to turn it off from beeping. You can get sort of break reminders that will work on your phone or on your laptop screen or another screen if you've got one. But because it's on the screen, people just tend to brush it away and carry on because, you know, hey, one more email, why not?
Yeah.
One more email turns into 5 hours of emails and arm pain and posture pain.
So true. It's very true. And then also in terms of foot positioning.
Mhm.
Is that important? So I cross my
Yeah.
legs by habit. I cross my legs. I know it's bad. I know it's bad for my spine. But why is it bad?
Yeah. So it's bad for a number of reasons. Firstly, you're putting your pelvis off kilter, so that your spine coming up out of the pelvis isn't in an ideal position. And secondly, in terms of blood flow as well, it can be a little bit constrictive as well. But it can feel comfortable and it can feel familiar. So if you're a leg crosser while you work, probably the reason you do that is because you didn't have a right chair when you got used to sitting to work. So you'll have either wrapped your legs sort of round each other under the chair or propped one leg up on the other to support it. And when you've got the right chair, and I'll demonstrate in a second how to set a chair up right.
Oh, yeah.
But when you've got the right chair, you can have your feet flat on the floor or on a footrest. And if you're not used to it, it will feel weird for a couple of days, 3-4 days maybe, and then it just becomes a new habit and just becomes absolutely normal. So there's no reason to, although it's comfortable, although it's nice, it's cozy, isn't it, crossing your legs?
Yeah.
There's no reason why not to retrain yourself into having your feet flat on the floor. So do you want to have a look at chair setup now?
Yes, please. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so this chair, this is a really great chair. This is by a company called BMA, and this is the Axia chair. And these are quite dear, chairs like this. And sometimes people say to me, you know, oh, well, I've got this chair from Amazon, or I've got this chair from another online retailer, and it was only 120 bucks. But I've got a lot of discomfort and I've got a lot of pain. And unfortunately, the reality is when it comes to seating and chairs, you do get what you pay for.
Right.
So you could get, you know, a really cheap gaming chair that's on sale, but it's not going to support you and it's not going to be comfortable. People spend a lot of money now on cars. People spend a lot of money on mattresses. People spend a lot of money on their television, and people spend thousands sometimes on their mobile phone. And then they'll spend 100 quid on the chair. And if you're gonna spend 8 hours on a chair, please get a proper chair. So what you want with your chair really, when in fact your whole environment, is you want to make yourself the focal center of it. So everything's docking to you instead of you trying to dock to the environment. So think of yourself as being right at the center. So the first adjustment, if you have got an adjustable chair, that you want to make is getting the height of the chair, raising and lowering the chair. And ideally, you want your hips to be just a little bit above the knees in terms of height. So there's a slight downwards tilt here in the thigh bone, and that's a nice way to get that height right with your feet flat on the floor. Some of you shorter ladies in particular find it quite difficult to get chair height where their feet are flat on the floor. And for that, you can use any sort of footrest. This is a really nice one. This one's from Kensington. I really like this because you can wiggle your feet around and do good stuff with that. So that's one way of dealing with that issue, and I'll tell you a couple more shortly. So when you get your height right, a lot of chairs have a function, and people aren't aware of this, that allows you to slide the seat here backwards and forwards. Can you see that from the angle where you are up there, Nicole? I'll lower the phone a bit forward. I'll lower the phone a bit. Today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now try.
So here, what people miss is the ability to change the depth of the seat there. And you want to adjust the seat so that when you're sat comfortably to the back of it, you've still got just a little gap here behind the knee. So 2 or 3 fingers here behind the knee. The popliteal, it's called in medical circles. And that means that your thigh is really nicely supported, so that you're not just sat perched near the front of the chair and all of the weight of the thigh isn't supported. Or if you're too short in the thigh, for some people, then they can't reach the back of the chair because the depth is too long. So adjusting that depth is great. So you've adjusted your height and your depth, which is good. Then you want to turn to your chair back, and the chair back, generally, most chairs have here a sort of lumbar support area, which is just a bit of a curve to support that small of your lower back. So you want the chair back set so that the height there is so that lumbar is in your lumbar area and being supported.
Okay.
And then when you've done that, some of them might even have like this one, a bulb where you can inflate the lumbar to make it really, really comfortable if you need it. You can adjust the angle of the back. And you don't want the chair pushing you forwards and you don't want it leaning back too much. So this is set about right. And you could lock that in position using a chair like this to get lots of support. But I much prefer people to have it free floating. So here the chair can float around and follow you. So the
Yeah.
tension is adjusted. So the chair, if you're leaning back and you're on a telephone call, that's relaxing. You've still got the support. And then when you lean forwards again, it's still supporting you in the back.
That's really cool.
Because a lot of people, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't
A
realize
lot
it
of
did all
people,
that.
a lot of people will be using a chair and they'll be sat here typing forwards and not using the support of the back at all because of that bad posture.
Yeah.
So how do you get good posture going into a chair? It's really easy actually. If people stand, all you have to do is just push yourself back here at the pelvis to fold into the pelvis. And can you see it leaves you, it just puts you in a really nice position in your chair.
So, like a nice
That's a really nice way of learning that. So we've adjusted the seat and the back, and then many chairs now have adjustable arms as well, which you can adjust up and down. And you want to adjust the arm so that when your elbow is out here about 90 degrees, with your forearm nice and forward, so you're just resting there on that support of the chair arm, which takes the weight of the upper arm and the upper limb here off the shoulders, so it's quite supportive.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's like very important then with the to take the weight off your arms as well.
Yeah, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but for most people it's a great idea to do that. You see a lot of people when they've got chair arms and a desk, they'll actually, to get closer to the desk because they're not sat well in the first place and they haven't set the chair up well, they'll have it on lower so that they can get in close enough to the desk with the chair arms.
I've had that.
But really you want the arms to support you and then your desk to be at the right height. So luckily here I've got an adjustable one, but we can talk about that. Then here you can see that the arm is nice and parallel to the floor, resting on the keyboard with the support of those armrests, which are at the same height as the desk.
Yeah, that's cool.
So here I am, I'm really comfortable. I could sit and work like this for long periods of time, taking breaks regularly. So that's how you get your chair set up.
Nice. And what do you think about cushion? So like my stepdad, for instance, has like a support cushion in his chair. Is that needed if you have? Because I assume if you have a good setup, you don't actually need that.
Yeah. So when we see people who've added cushions to their chair, usually it's because it's not the right chair for them. Sometimes it's too old and the padding's gone and it's not comfortable to sit on. It might be that it's too deep here in the seat so that they're having to put something behind them to support the back.
Yeah.
But generally, it's a red flag that it's time to upgrade the chair. It's like saying, "Oh, I've seen someone with a mattress and they've taped it together with gaffer tape," and you think, "Well, it's probably time to upgrade the mattress, then, isn't it?" Yeah.
I will tell him a red flag, ergonomic red flag.
Yeah. I'm waving. You can take a screenshot, and this is me being very upset with him.
And so then with desks, this is like a very cool desk that adjusts. Where can we get one of these?
Okay, so I have these available on our website at posturestars.com, and depending for UK deliveries, but wherever you are in the world, there are desks available that you can buy. And the way they generally come is the base comes separate from the top. So you buy the base and then you buy the top in whatever colour it might be. And they're electric and adjustable. You can get manual ones, which are more affordable, but my experience is the people with the manual desks set them once and then don't do it because it's quite a lot of hard work. So I mean, it's a luxury, really. Many countries, many parts of the world don't have the luxury of an electric sit-stand desk, which is a shame because everybody in an ideal world would have one. So if you haven't got something like that, if you've just got a standard flat desk and you've set your seating right, but the desk is too high, then you're going to have to raise yourself up off the floor more and use a footrest. If the desk is too low for you when you're set right, remember you're the middle of your environment, you want to dock everything to you. If that desk is too low, You can buy little cups to put under the legs of the table or the desk, or you could add something on top of the desk in order to raise the height of the desk itself. But do try and get it so that then you've got this parallel arm here while you're in a good position, and that will set you up best in terms of your desk. And I've seen people working on ironing boards, some people working on, you know, knee-height coffee tables. And if you're nomadic, you're going to end up plonking yourself down wherever's available. If you're a home worker, then you can spend an hour or two and make a massive difference to your comfort just by setting things up differently and taking the time to maybe raise or lower the work surface that you're working on, or figure out how to use your chair, because a lot of people don't figure out how to use their chair. There's a lot of settings on a lot of chairs that never get used because people have never tried them.
I didn't realize that it moved in the horizontal way. I didn't realize that chairs. I didn't realize they did that.
Yeah, you know, it makes a massive difference. So think about your chair. Invest in a nice chair if you can. Think about your desk or table. If you're working from home, invest if you can in a sit-stand one, because then you can spend time standing and sitting, which is much better for you. And you can also adjust the table height to yourself perfectly. And if, like me, you've got young children at home, you can adjust the table to suit their height as well. So there are all those advantages. If you've got a fixed table, then make some adjustments to it. And then we'll move on to the peripherals now as well. So this is something that a lot of people just overlook. And particularly if you're a nomadic worker, it's easy to overlook taking a mouse mat with you, but it does make a big difference in terms of the accuracy of the mousing. So when you're doing your spreadsheet work for 2 hours at a time, having a mouse pad actually makes it a lot more accurate to move effectively.
And
you know, if you're
there's nothing worse than like when you have like a shiny surface in particular, and the mouse, I mean, you can't use it. It's ridiculous. You have like a shiny surface and it's just going all over the place.
So just invest in a little mouse mat there. That's a great idea.
Now
you'll see here we've got, sorry?
It's very travel friendly too, because I mean it just, you know, rolls up or fits in very nicely like a piece of paper.
Let's visit that. This is really important. If you're traveling and using a laptop or IT, unless the items that you've got are easy to use and portable, you're just going to end up leaving them back in the room or leaving them somewhere. They've got to be portable, light, and easy to use. And that's one of. Let's talk about the next stands then, because that's a really good. These are really good. That's the next stand. Put away. And that's it, put out again. So put away, just slip into your bag, put out again. What you do with one of these is you get your laptop and you just slot it into there, and that's it. You raise the screen height so much better than if your laptop was, horror upon horror, flat on the desk. So even here, my chair's right and my desk's right, and then I've got a laptop. And the only way to work with this is by having a bad posture. If you have a nice posture, the screen's miles away down there, can't really work with it. So you need to have a laptop stand and a keyboard and a mouse. And this is where the next stand products are really good, is because unlike some laptop stands, which they'll tilt your laptop like this, you see that the screen heights come up to about there. The next stand product, see how that's brought the height right up for the screen, so it's perfect for me. And you can adjust the height of the stand so it's higher or lower as well. But in this instance here, you could have that screen right next to a main screen if you're in an internet cafe, or if you're working from home, or if you've got a screen. And see how much more comfortable then it is to work. So I'm looking at the laptop, I'm looking at the main monitor, than it would be with the laptop down there, trying to work on this and look at another monitor, or just work on this.
Yeah, it's like less movement and less awkward.
Yeah, so with a nice stand here, what it means is the height of the screen here wants to be at about eye height. So roughly where you type into Google or Bing or Chrome or Edge or whatever it is that people are going to be using, where you type into the address bar is roughly where you want to be looking at for eye height. Roughly, for different people, it'll be different. If you've got this sort of neck after years of it, it's going to be different, isn't it, than if you're wanting it to work. But aiming for that height, and that's why a laptop stand's great for that purpose. While we're talking about height, I'm going to show 2 more of your products as well. This is a mega plug-a-thon for you here as well. Because the reason I'm mentioning it is because I like them and I use them. So at Posture Stars, we only sell products that are good. So we video review products for companies who send us the samples and we'll video them. And sometimes we just won't put the video out and we won't recommend the product at all because it's a bit naff. But 2 of the products that are good are these ones here I've got hidden away. So this is a tablet stand.
I have this.
And this one's a phone stand. And these are great because if you've got your phone, my phone's up there so I can't show you, but if you use a phone a lot for work and it's just flat on a desk, then you're either going to have to look down and have bad posture to use it, or you're going to have to hold it to use it. And some people will do something like cram it under the neck or something like that, which is very 1980s. So if you've got a phone stand like that, you can have your phone upright, so the screen is much easier to see, to type on, and to use the phone in general. And the larger one here, this is the base 12 tablet stand, is great as well because that enables you to have a tablet up at a nice height as well.
That's really good.
Yeah, they're great. So can you see how it's all coming back to what I mentioned earlier, which was about the heights? If you can get your heights right, then your posture is going to be much more easily accommodated, that good posture. If your heights are wrong, then it's really hard to work and your posture is going to be really poor. So make yourself the middle of your universe, get yourself set up well, and then as best as you can, adopt and adapt the environment to suit you, not to suit the person who was there before you, if you're in a hot desking environment, because it's going to be completely different. And people will say, oh, yeah, but they're 5'10" and I'm 5'10". Fair enough, but is your shin length the same as theirs? No, they might be a long leg person or a short leg person. Some people like me have shorter legs and longer torsos. So my chair has to be quite low, but my screen has to be quite high. Whereas someone the same height as me who had long legs and a short torso, their chair would be higher, but their screen would need to be lower in comparison to where their eyes are. So it's all about fitting your environment to you as best you can with what you've got, which might mean, you know, using boxes or reams of paper as a footrest. It might mean putting planks of wood on top of your desk to raise your desk height, or putting things under the legs, and then bringing in the peripherals which tie it all together. So all the stuff on the desk, all these peripherals, need to get stuff at the right height for you too, which is, it's about having yourself being able to look at stuff here. So our eyes like to look straight ahead and then down about 20 odd degrees. Our eyes hate looking up. So if you were, for example, if I raise this desk here, if your screen were too high, then you'd end up looking up like this. I mean, you'd have the contact stress problems as well.
Is that
but our eyes don't.
So like if you're looking up, say you're kind of in a situation where your screen's up way high, is that just as damaging for your neck and posture than it is to be down?
Personally, I think it's more damaging because you're really compressing in the cervical spine then and crushing everything back down behind you. So listeners and viewers, do this now. If you look up towards the ceiling, that's actually quite an eye muscular effort to look upright. And our eyes don't naturally like looking up, so you will end up rotating the cranium here over the cervical spine and giving yourself a really bad neck and shoulders over the course of the day. So, yeah, really important that.
Yeah, I really like the idea of you are the center of your universe when it comes to the working station. I like that.
Nicole, you're the center of my universe as well. But definitely, for everyone watching, you're the boss of you, aren't you? You are in charge of you. And if you negate that and say, well, actually, work's more important than me, I've just got to get on and do it, then you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing the work a disservice as well, because you're not going to be as productive, and you're not going to be as effective.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, look after number one. It's really important.
Love that. And so when it comes to taking little mini breaks, and say, you know, you work an hour or 2 hours, and you know, you're, even with the ergonomic setup, you just got a little bit of a bit achy. What little mini exercises can people do throughout their day just to like refresh themselves?
Yeah, let's talk about them. I'll come up and I'll move the phone into.
Oh, yeah.
Just move it so we can see a bit better.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So I'll give you 3 or 4. The easiest one, which is really simple, is a chin tuck.
Okay.
So you simply take a finger, place it on your chin, and push your chin in towards your neck there, and you'll feel that straightens up the back of the neck, and then just let go again. And you could do that half a dozen times, a handful of times.
Okay.
You don't want to spend all day like this with your neck ramrod straight. That will give you as much neck ache as sitting like this all day. But just occasionally giving it that straightening, because then what you're doing is you're undoing that tendency. Everything's in front of you when you're working, and we tend to attentionally to get pulled forwards, and this is undoing that forwardness. Yeah. So in terms of your shoulders here as well, they're generally, if you're not careful, they're rounding forwards when you're tight. So a fix for that is to take your doorway, next time you go through a doorway, and place your hands on either side, and then you just lean through the doorway. So your hands stay against the door and you lean your body through, and that's a lovely stretch there across the front of the shoulders to open that area, out as well. And here's my handy hint for how to keep those nice and open when you are going to type, is if you're going to type, bring your arms, it's a bit of a flourish, it's a bit dandy, is bring your arms round and onto a keyboard. And if you do that, can you feel how it leaves your shoulders really nice and open? Whereas if you just bring them forwards and onto a keyboard, it tends to pull the shoulders forwards here and affect the neck slightly. So rather than doing that, have a little flourish. So you could begin your workday with a little ceremony of, I will begin. And then at the end of your workday, and this is particularly important for people who travel a lot and work a lot, you need a little ritual to end the workday as well. To say, I do a little Harry Potter flourish, and I say workers completus. Then everything gets shut down, and it's that act mentally of stopping the workday that means you can enjoy the rest of the day. Because otherwise, it tends to drift into thinking about stuff in the evening, and I'll just check this email, and so all of that's out the window. When you've finished, you're finished, and then that gives your body a chance to recover as well. Just to say, now it's playtime. Awesome. So exercise number 1 is the chin tuck. Exercise number 2 is the door lean. And notice that none of those require you to go to the gym or buy any expensive equipment. And you mentioned earlier that it was uncomfortable for you after working on the spreadsheet for a couple of hours. So a nice stretch for the hand is to have the arm out in front of you, and just gently, we're not trying to contort ourselves, but just gently pull the fingers back on that hand so that you'll feel a stretch. I feel it here through the wrist. I feel it. Just gently, and then turn the hand down and do the same so that the hand's getting a stretch that way, and then repeat. Nice. So that's really nice for opening out the hand and opening out the wrist. And then if you're feeling particularly physical, you can take that and take them through a series of movements here. So you're going forwards in little circles and backwards in little circles, or you could go forwards in big circles and backwards in big circles. That's with the hand up, and you can do it with the hand down as well. So you're getting all sorts of different nerve stretches then through the arm. Which
that already feels nice. I've just done it in 2 seconds. It already feels nice.
There you go. So, and you know, you could be doing that. You might be on a Zoom, Teams, Hangouts, or whatever you are with people, and you can either do it and no one cares. No one cares that you're having a quick stretch. Or you could just turn your camera off for a second whilst you're there and you know, pretend you've gone to the loo or something and do some stretches. I'll mention on that now that a lot of people are they've got a kind of chair presenteeism, which is that when they're on a Teams call or a Zoom's call or something like this, they feel that they have to be sat. in front of the screen, because that's what you would do in a classroom or in an office environment. But you don't have to be. You can be standing. So every single one of my face-to-face screen presentations happen with me standing.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. It's better. It's better. And then when you're typing and you're doing your spreadsheet stuff, have a sit down and do the spreadsheet stuff. But there's no reason why you have to be sat there during those meetings.
Yeah.
Nobody cares anymore. Your bosses, for the people listening, they don't care that you're stood up and stretching. They're probably happy that you're stood up and stretching. So throw away the chair presenteeism about I've got to sit here and I've got to be still. It's those days are gone.
That's given me something to think about, because I always sit in the chair. I treat it like it's like a meeting in like an office, so I'm just like sat there. But that's such a good point, because people only see like the face, so I could be standing, I could be doing this like. Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Nobody's going to judge you negatively because you're moving.
No. I actually was on a call ages ago with a woman, and she was giving herself a lovely facial massage at the time.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was Lena, the face yoga and face massage lady on Instagram. She's amazing. People should check her out. If you want face yoga, go and see Lena. Yeah.
Do you do facial yoga? Do you do like you practice it?
I'm as beautiful as I was the day I was born, so I don't need to. I'm actually getting younger year by year. So if I did face yoga, I'd look like a 2-year-old. So I don't do it.
Gotta be careful, and it's the posture. It's the good posture. It's just making you age backwards.
Backwards, yeah. But anything like that, moving. Just not sitting in a static position. So there's four main issues in terms of how people work in terms of their ergonomics, which is poor posture is the first, static posture is the second one. So you could have good posture, but if you're going to sit there for 8 hours without moving, that's just as bad for you really as poor posture. Then you've got contact stress, which we've shown, where things are pressing onto your arms and causing you problems. And then finally there's repetition, which is that act of doing lots of repetitive activities. And then when you've done that, finally there's repetition, which is the act of doing lots of those repetitive activities as well, which is my repetition joke, which was rubbish, Nicole. You didn't even laugh.
There was a point where I was like, did I just imagine him saying it twice, or was that it's late on a Friday, I'm questioning everything.
Late on a Friday. So think about those 4 things, people. Think about, have you got good posture? Are you moving? Are you avoiding that kind of contact stress problem? And if you are doing really repetitive tasks, like you're a spreadsheet number enterer or something like that, make sure you get them breaks, make sure you move around. And there are things you can do to improve that as well. There's a really nice mouse, which is the MX Master 3S, which has got a lot more functionality in terms of scrolling and clicking. So that's great for spreadsheet users. That's a really nice one. But yeah, generally just keep him moving and getting everything at the right height. If you can get that going, then you're on a winner. And
the message of this is that we are the center of our universe as well, and everyone should remember that.
We are. Everyone's seeing this. I'm gonna look you in the eye. Where's my camera? Where is it? There it is. You are the center of your universe. Make it fit to you.
Yes.
Make it fit to you. Yeah.
Well, on that note, tell everyone where can people get your products, where can people get in contact? I saw you have online courses as well, I noticed that. Where can people contact you?
So I'm here on Instagram. You know where I am, because you can see me here at Posture Stars. We're on LinkedIn as well, James Crow. You'll find me on LinkedIn. We have a really comprehensive website, posturestars.com, which includes a lot of reviews of products and stuff that you might find you're interested in using yourself. For most UK users, they can order them from our store. And then we also have the webinars and the workshops, which are probably our most popular product, which is me spending an hour with your company, with your employees, with your staff, going through a lot of the stuff that we've gone through today to make sure that they're comfortable. And we do have some online courses. I'm rejigging those a bit at the moment to modernize those, because I look about 20 years younger in some of them, and I've learned a bit since then. So, but yeah, pop on over to Posture Stars. If you've got any questions, drop me an email, and I'll either, if I can answer it quickly, I'll try and answer it quickly. And if it's more complex, then we might need to set up a consultation over Zoom or Teams or whatever it is you use. But we're here to help. We're here to help. So don't just sit there in pain thinking that that's your lot and that's what you've got, because there's always a way to improve, and we can show you how.
That's awesome. Well, we're on the same mission together. We're both on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
thank you so much for coming. Thank you. I think everyone's learned so much. I've definitely learned quite a few things today with my exercises. Yeah, thank you so much. And I wish you, we will see each other again, I'm sure. And have a really nice weekend, because it is Friday and it's the start of your day. So actually, you have a nice weekend in a few hours.
Thank you very much. I'll do my best. You enjoy yours as well. Thanks for having me, Nicole.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye.